Have you ever found yourself caught up in the whirlwind of an Aries relationship? Hold on tight, because dating an Aries is like riding a roller coaster, full of passion, excitement, and yes, plenty of drama. But here's the big question: are you ready for the ride? Are you prepared for the fiery energy, the emotional highs and lows, and the unpredictability that comes with an Aries? In today's video, we're diving deep into what it's like to date an Aries, the good, the bad, and the dramatic. From their explosive temper to their intense love, Aries will keep you on your toes. One minute they'll sweep you off your feet with their passion, and the next, they might blow up over something small. But don't worry, I've got you covered. We're going to explore how to understand these fiery personalities, how to handle the drama, and how to make the most of your relationship with an Aries. But that's not all. You'll also discover how to use this knowledge for personal growth and how to bring balance into your life when navigating the intensity that comes with an Aries partner. So, if you're curious about how to survive, and maybe even thrive, in an Aries relationship, stick around, because this video is packed with all the insights you need. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Share it with anyone who's dating an Aries or thinking about it. Let's spread the wisdom. Now, let's get into the drama of dating an Aries. Dating an Aries is an exhilarating experience, full of emotional highs and intense moments. It's not for the faint of heart, but for those brave enough to face the drama. It can be a journey of growth and excitement like no other. If you've ever found yourself in a relationship with an Aries, or even thought about it, you already know that they bring something special to the table. Their energy is electric, their passion is undeniable, and their unpredictability keeps things interesting. But here's the thing about dating an Aries: it's never boring, and it's definitely not without its challenges. Let's dive into what it truly means to date an Aries, starting with their most defining quality, their unpredictable energy. When you're with an Aries, it's like you're riding a wave of emotions that never quite seems to settle. One minute, they're all about you, attention-focused, passionate, and completely invested. The next minute, they're off on an adventure, maybe to explore something new or to dive headfirst into a spontaneous project. It's this constant movement and impulsiveness that can sometimes make an Aries feel like they're a whirlwind. And for those of us who prefer calm, predictable routines, it can be exhausting. But here's the truth: it's exactly this unpredictable energy that makes dating an Aries so exciting. If you want a relationship that is never dull, never routine, and always full of surprises, then an Aries is your person. But let me give you a little secret. To truly understand and thrive in a relationship with an Aries, you have to learn to embrace their spontaneous energy, rather than try to control it. They need their freedom to explore, to discover new things, and yes, to occasionally leave you behind while they chase the next big idea or adventure. If you try to hold them back or demand stability all the time, you'll find yourself at odds with them more often than not. So here's a tip for handling that unpredictability: let them go when they need to. But don't forget to create space for yourself too. Show them that you respect their freedom and independence, and they'll be more likely to return with all the passion and attention you desire. And then there's the speed at which an Aries falls in love, or falls out. Have you ever met someone who dives headfirst into relationships? That's an Aries. They fall for you quickly, without hesitation, with a fire that seems to burn brighter than anything you've ever felt before. But here's the catch: while their love burns hot and fast, it can just as easily burn out if they feel their emotional needs aren't being met. The problem isn't that they don't care, but rather that Aries operates on a timeline that feels like a sprint, not a marathon. They want excitement, thrill, and passion from the start. And if that starts to fade or feel routine, they'll quickly lose interest. Now, I know what you're thinking: how do you survive that kind of intensity? How do you navigate this fast-paced emotional roller coaster without getting whiplash? It's all about staying in the moment and matching their energy. Don't try to slow them down or keep up at a pace that doesn't feel natural to you. Instead, adapt by matching their enthusiasm and passion, but also make sure that you're keeping the relationship dynamic by introducing new things. Aries loves a challenge, and they love variety, so keeping things fresh can prevent the burnout that might otherwise come when their feelings start to fade. Keep them intrigued, and they'll keep coming back for more. But let's talk about the famous Aries temper. Ah, the infamous Aries fire. It's something you've heard about, and if you've dated one, you've probably witnessed it. Aries can be quick to anger, with little tolerance for what they perceive as disrespect or injustice. This doesn't mean they're vindictive or malicious. Rather, it's the Martian energy they carry that fuels their quick reactions. When they feel strongly about something, whether it's a disagreement, a slight, or a misunderstanding, they're not going to hold back. They'll let you know exactly how they feel, and they'll do it passionately. I'll never forget a time when a close friend was dating an Aries. They were at a dinner party, and a minor comment was made that upset her Aries partner. The eruption was immediate, intense, and, to outsiders, it may have seemed like an overreaction. But for the Aries, it was a deeply felt moment, and they weren't going to keep their feelings bottled up. It wasn't about the comment itself, it was about feeling disrespected. But here's the key to navigating this kind of fiery behavior: don't take it personally. It's not a personal attack. It's an emotional reaction that needs to be addressed right then and there. Aries doesn't hold grudges for long. Once the storm passes, they're usually ready to move on without lingering resentment. And here's the best advice: give them space to vent and process their emotions. The faster you allow the drama to unfold, the faster you'll get back to the peaceful, passionate side of your relationship. However, be warned, if you try to suppress or avoid their feelings, you're likely to ignite another wave of frustration. Aries needs to express themselves, even if it comes out as loud and dramatic. It's their way of releasing tension, and once they've let it all out, they're usually good to go. But it's up to you to decide if you can handle that fiery side of their personality. As passionate and intense as an Aries can be, they also bring with them an immense sense of independence. They value their freedom above all else. You may notice that while they're fiercely loyal and protective in a relationship, they won't tolerate being controlled or suffocated. If you try to chain them down with too many expectations, restrictions, or demands, the drama will escalate, and that roller coaster will go off the rails. But this doesn't mean you have to stand by as a passive partner. Aries respect strength and independence in others. They want to feel like their partner is not only emotionally strong but also capable of standing on their own. Here's where the magic happens. If you show them that you can lead your own life, follow your passions, and maintain your independence while still nurturing the relationship, they will be drawn to you even more. Aries thrives on mutual respect. They love the challenge of being with someone who is confident, self-assured, and ready to take on life with the same enthusiasm that they do. The balance here is key. Let Aries be free, but also make sure you're pursuing your own goals and interests. Aries doesn't want a partner who simply follows their lead. They want someone who can stand beside them and create something amazing together. This respect for each other's independence strengthens the bond and helps avoid the clashes that come from overdependence. And remember, Aries will always come back stronger when they know you respect their need for space. As we explore these dynamics with an Aries, it's clear that dating them requires an open heart and an open mind. But with the right approach, you can not only survive but thrive in this fiery relationship. You'll need patience, understanding, and a bit of resilience, but in return, you'll get a partner who is fiercely loyal, passionate, and always ready for the next big adventure. As we continue on this journey through the world of Aries, stay tuned for the next part where we'll dive deeper into their competitive nature and how to keep the peace in a relationship that's full of sparks. Believe me, things are just getting started. As we continue our exploration into what it's like to date an Aries, let's delve deeper into the next facets of their personality that make being in a relationship with them such a thrilling yet challenging experience. Aries' need for attention, their competitive spirit, and their complex relationship with forgiveness and forgetting are all part of the intricate dance that comes with loving someone under this fiery sign. Imagine being in a relationship where, at every moment, your partner craves not just your affection, but your undivided attention. Aries loves being the center of attention, and they need to feel like they are the most important person in your world. This can be exhilarating, especially at the beginning of a relationship when everything feels fresh and exciting. But as time goes on, this need for constant validation can become a bit overwhelming. It's not that Aries are selfish, they simply thrive when they feel seen, appreciated, and admired. I've seen this play out in a close friend's relationship with an Aries. Whenever they were together, her partner would constantly find ways to make the moment about them. Whether it was telling a funny story at a party, showing off their accomplishments, or finding ways to make every conversation about their passions. The Aries was always in the spotlight. At first, it felt like they were just confident and engaging, but after a while, my friend started feeling neglected, as though her own achievements and feelings were being sidelined. The key to navigating this aspect of an Aries is to be sure you're giving them the attention they need, but also standing firm in making sure you're seen and heard as well. Aries is drawn to partners who have their own passions, who have their own lives, and who don't need constant validation. So, the advice here is to find that balance. Show your Aries partner that you see them, appreciate them, but also assert yourself as someone with your own story, your own ambitions. They'll respect you for it and, in turn, you'll both feel equally valued in the relationship. Now, let's talk about Aries' intense competitive spirit. If you're dating an Aries, you might quickly learn that competition is a part of the fabric of your relationship. It's not always overt, but Aries thrives on challenges, both within themselves and within their relationships. They're driven by a need to be the best, and they'll often push themselves, and you, to achieve greatness. This can lead to some dynamic moments, especially when both of you are working towards similar goals. However, when things go wrong, Aries' competitive nature can turn into a battle of egos. It's not uncommon for an Aries to want to win in every situation, including arguments or decisions within the relationship. I've experienced this firsthand with a couple of Aries friends who both worked together in the same company. Their competitiveness was electric. While it motivated them to succeed in their careers, it also led to some tense moments at home. It wasn't uncommon for their conversations to turn into who's right rather than how do we solve this together. The challenge here is to understand that Aries doesn't want to lose. And if they feel like their opinion or perspective is being dismissed, the competitive fire might flare up. So, if you're with an Aries and you notice this competitive edge starting to affect your dynamic, the most important thing you can do is communicate openly and honestly. Rather than fighting for dominance, work together to find a solution that allows both of you to feel heard and validated. Recognize that the competition doesn't have to be destructive. It can be a tool for growth if channeled correctly. Encourage collaboration instead of confrontation, and remind them that your goal is to win together, not apart. When it comes to forgiveness, dating an Aries can feel like navigating a storm. On the one hand, they're incredibly quick to forgive, and they'll likely move on from an argument or disagreement faster than you can process what just happened. They don't hold grudges, and once the dust settles, they're typically ready to move forward without any lingering resentment. But on the other hand, Aries doesn't easily forget. Even though they might forgive quickly, they tend to remember things that have upset them, and those past grievances may resurface unexpectedly. I've seen this with one of my relatives who's been with an Aries for years. After an argument, her Aries partner would cool off, apologize, and act as if everything was fine. But months later, when a similar situation came up, the old issues would come rushing back into the conversation. It was clear that although the Aries had forgiven, the memory of the event still lingered in their mind. If you're dating an Aries and find yourself in a similar situation, the best thing you can do is ensure that the issues are addressed fully in the moment. Don't just brush things under the rug, thinking it'll disappear. Aries needs closure and resolution, even if it means having a difficult conversation. Once that's achieved, they'll likely be ready to move on. Just be mindful that the memories may come up from time to time. Patience and reassurance are essential when navigating this dynamic. Now, let's take a moment to talk about something that might seem simple but is a crucial part of dating an Aries: their need for freedom. Aries is fiercely independent, and they value their personal space as much as they value the connection with their partner. While they want intimacy and closeness, they also want the freedom to explore the world, to take risks, and to do things on their own terms. This can sometimes be a tricky balance to maintain, especially if you're someone who craves constant closeness and connection. I once knew a couple where the Aries partner loved taking spontaneous trips, sometimes without warning, sometimes even without inviting their significant other. At first, this behavior drove the non-Aries partner crazy. They felt abandoned, left out, and unimportant. But after some heart-to-heart conversations, they both realized that it wasn't about the Aries partner not wanting to spend time together, it was about their need to recharge and do things independently. The Aries partner needed their personal space to feel grounded and energized, and the other partner needed to understand that this space wasn't a rejection, but rather a necessity. Here's the advice: give your Aries partner space. Trust them and respect their need for autonomy. At the same time, don't ignore your own needs for closeness and intimacy. It's about finding a balance, letting them go when they need to, but also ensuring that your emotional needs are being met. If you can do this, your relationship will likely feel healthier and more balanced. And finally, let's address the elephant in the room: Aries' love for drama. It's no secret that Aries can bring a fair amount of excitement to the table, but with that excitement often comes a fair bit of drama. Whether it's a heated argument, an emotional outburst, or a passionate declaration of love, Aries knows how to make a statement. While this can be thrilling in the beginning, it can also wear on you if you're not prepared for it. You might find yourself feeling overwhelmed, not sure how to navigate the emotional intensity that Aries brings into the relationship. However, the drama isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes, it's just Aries' way of expressing themselves in the most genuine and heartfelt way possible. They're not being dramatic to manipulate or hurt you, they're simply showing you how much they care. So, the next time your Aries partner creates a little stir, don't immediately assume it's a bad thing. Instead, try to see it as an opportunity to connect on a deeper level, to understand what they're feeling, and to work through it together. The key to dealing with Aries drama is to stay calm, stay grounded, and not to take things too personally. They're just expressing themselves in the only way they know how, intensely, and with all their heart. When you're dating an Aries, learning to ride the emotional waves instead of getting swept up in them is essential for maintaining a peaceful and fulfilling relationship. As we move forward, you'll want to keep these lessons in mind, because dealing with the drama of Aries is only the tip of the iceberg. In the next part of our journey, we'll explore even more about how to keep the peace with Aries, maintain balance in your relationship, and turn those emotional highs and lows into opportunities for growth and connection. So stay tuned, you won't want to miss what's coming next. As we continue exploring the intricacies of dating an Aries, it's essential to understand how their traits extend beyond mere moments of fiery passion and drama. The deeper layers of an Aries personality reveal both a longing for independence and an innate desire to protect those they care about. In a relationship, you'll find that their directness is often both a blessing and a challenge. Their need for action can either propel the relationship forward or create friction. And their loyalty and emotional depth may surprise you when you least expect it. An Aries partner will never leave you in the dark. One of the first things you'll notice when dating them is their refreshing honesty. Aries don't have time for games, and they're not interested in sugarcoating their feelings. If they like something, you'll know immediately, and if something's bothering them, you'll hear about it. At first, this can feel a little overwhelming. In a world where people often choose to hide their feelings to avoid confrontation, Aries' bluntness stands out. They're not the type to silently seethe in the background. If they're upset, you'll know it, and if they love you, they'll make sure you know that too. This transparency is a breath of fresh air. But it can also feel intense. Imagine having a conversation with someone who doesn't hesitate to speak their mind, especially when it's something important to them. Take, for example, a couple I know, where the Aries partner would always be upfront about their expectations, even if it meant initiating tough conversations. This would often catch the other person off guard, as they weren't used to such directness. At first, it seemed like a confrontation waiting to happen, but with time, they learned that this honesty helped them avoid misunderstandings and grow closer as a couple. If you're dating an Aries, you'll have to adjust to this openness. Don't take it personally or view it as a negative trait. Instead, see it for what it is, a clear line of communication. And if you're sensitive to criticism, remember that their honesty is not an attack, it's a reflection of their desire for a real, authentic connection. The more you embrace this trait and communicate openly yourself, the stronger your relationship will be. But for all their directness and enthusiasm, Aries also craves action. This is a sign that thrives on doing. Aries doesn't want to sit around and discuss feelings endlessly. They prefer to do things, whether it's exploring a new activity together, going on an adventure, or solving problems with their hands rather than just talking them out. They love excitement and movement. And in a relationship, this can often mean they are pushing for something new or different all the time. Take, for instance, the story of a couple I once knew where the Aries partner was constantly planning spontaneous trips. It didn't matter if they were busy with work or had other responsibilities, they would pack up and head out on a weekend trip at the drop of a hat. The other partner, more of a homebody, struggled to keep up with the constant pace. It wasn't that they didn't enjoy these trips, but the spontaneity started to feel like a pressure rather than a fun escape. The Aries, on the other hand, didn't understand why they were being hesitant. For them, life was meant to be experienced fully, not wasted away with routine. If you're with an Aries, this can be both exciting and exhausting. The trick here is to balance their need for action with your own desires. If you love their energy, then join in on the fun. If you're someone who needs a bit more stability, it's important to communicate that need calmly. Let them know that while you enjoy their spontaneous plans, there's also value in quiet nights and predictable routines. The goal is to find a rhythm that works for both of you, rather than getting caught up in constant movement that might leave one person feeling overwhelmed. Loyalty is another powerful aspect of an Aries personality. While they might come off as bold, brash, or even overly confident, there's a deep well of loyalty and love hidden beneath their fiery exterior. Aries will fight for the people they care about. This isn't just about defending them in public or standing up for them in an argument, it's about showing up for you when it matters most. This loyalty can be seen in both big and small ways. I've seen an Aries friend go to great lengths for their partner, from planning elaborate surprise dates to dropping everything when their partner needed help during a tough time. In fact, they would go so far as to make sure their partner's needs were always met, sometimes even before their own. Aries may seem self-centered at first glance, but when they love someone, they love deeply and passionately. They will give their all. However, there's a catch to their loyalty. If you betray that trust or take advantage of their commitment, the fallout can be dramatic. Aries will not forgive easily if they feel their loyalty has been disrespected. But the positive side of this loyalty is that if you treat them right, you'll never have to question their love or support. The key here is to nurture that trust, be honest with them, and show your appreciation for their dedication. Aries isn't one to dwell on past issues for long, but when it comes to betrayal, it's something they don't take lightly. If you're with an Aries, loyalty is everything, and it goes both ways. As you might have already guessed, dating an Aries requires a high level of emotional intelligence and understanding. Their passion is both their strength and their weakness, and they need a partner who can keep up with their intensity while also offering the emotional security they sometimes crave. The intense emotions that an Aries partner brings to the table aren't always easy to handle, but they're often necessary for both growth and connection. If you can learn to embrace and manage these moments, you'll find that the connection becomes deeper and more meaningful. But what about those times when an Aries does something that feels like too much, perhaps even too dramatic for your taste? It's common for an Aries to make a scene when they feel disrespected, hurt, or misunderstood. Their fiery nature means they might react intensely in the heat of the moment, throwing out words or actions that feel disproportionate to the situation. While this can feel like an emotional roller coaster, it's not necessarily something to avoid, it's simply their way of expressing themselves. They need that release, and once they've had it, they'll typically move on quickly. It's during these moments that understanding their emotions and being able to talk things through is crucial. It's not about trying to fix them in the moment, but more about allowing them to express their feelings and showing them that you're there for them when they're ready to process things. Patience and a strong sense of self are key here. When you can hold your ground and remain calm amidst their emotional outbursts, you demonstrate to them that you're not easily shaken. This builds trust and solidifies the foundation of your relationship. Lastly, let's talk about their need for freedom. Aries is not the type to be tied down by restrictions, and they often need space to pursue their own goals and passions. This can be difficult for a partner who craves closeness and connection. If you try to control or limit an Aries' freedom, the relationship may begin to feel suffocating, and that's when the drama tends to erupt. But if you can learn to respect their need for independence, you'll find that the relationship thrives. Aries values a partner who has their own life and interests, who doesn't need to be around them 24/7. They will always return to you. Not because they feel obligated, but because they genuinely enjoy your presence and value your connection. In many ways, respecting an Aries space creates a stronger bond, one that's built on trust, respect, and a shared understanding of each other's needs. Being in a relationship with an Aries is not for the faint of heart, but it's undoubtedly a journey worth taking. With patience, communication, and a willingness to embrace both the intense and spontaneous moments, you can build a relationship with an Aries that is deeply fulfilling. The passion, drama, and energy they bring into your life are not simply obstacles to overcome, they are opportunities to grow, to connect on a deeper level, and to create something that's uniquely yours. As we continue our exploration of what it's truly like to date an Aries, we now dive deeper into the final pieces of the Aries puzzle: their love for freedom, their competitive nature, and how they balance their quick temper with forgiveness. Understanding these aspects of an Aries personality will help you navigate this fiery relationship and ensure that you not only survive but thrive alongside them. First, let's talk about the most important thing that makes an Aries tick: freedom. If you're in a relationship with an Aries, you might have already noticed how much they value their independence. They are fiercely autonomous and require space to pursue their passions, dreams, and even random adventures without the pressure of being constantly tied down. While this can feel liberating, it can also be incredibly challenging if you're someone who prefers more stability or closeness. I once had a friend dating an Aries who loved spontaneity. This Aries partner was always coming up with last-minute plans, from spontaneous trips to random adventures, which initially seemed exciting. However, over time, my friend began to feel like they were being left behind. They craved more stability, more time together, but their Aries partner was always off on the next venture. It became a point of tension when the Aries partner didn't understand why my friend felt neglected. The key to navigating this is to respect their need for space and freedom. Aries needs to feel like they have room to breathe, to explore life on their own terms. However, that doesn't mean you should sacrifice your own needs. If you need more quality time or connection, it's crucial to communicate that with your Aries partner, but do it in a way that doesn't come across as controlling. You'll need to find a balance, and when you do, you'll realize that respecting each other's independence actually strengthens the relationship. An Aries partner doesn't want to feel suffocated or like they're constantly being monitored. They want someone who has their own life, their own interests, and is confident enough to let them have their space while still maintaining a strong connection. So if you're with an Aries, show them that you have a fulfilling life of your own, and they'll respect you more for it. At the same time, don't be afraid to express your need for more intimacy or togetherness. As long as it's done with respect, your Aries partner will appreciate your honesty. Now, let's talk about something that can either bring you closer or create a bit of tension in the relationship: competition. If you're dating an Aries, you may already have realized that they have a very competitive spirit. Aries thrives on challenges, whether it's in their professional life, their personal pursuits, or even in their relationship. They want to be the best, and they want their partner to keep up with them. In my own experience, I've seen this play out in several relationships, especially with Aries partners who were always striving for the next big goal. One friend was dating an Aries who couldn't stand the idea of losing to anyone, whether it was in a simple game of trivia or in a heated debate. It wasn't about being mean or showing off, it was about the Aries' desire to prove themselves and push limits. At first, this was fun and kept things exciting. But over time, the competition started to affect the relationship. Arguments became more about who was right and who was wrong, and the competitive edge made things feel less like a partnership and more like a battle for dominance. If you're dating an Aries, it's crucial to understand that their competitive nature is not something they can turn off. It's woven into the very fabric of their being. However, instead of viewing it as a threat to your relationship, think of it as an opportunity for growth. You don't have to fight for control. Instead, embrace the competition in a healthy way. Find activities or projects you can do together where both of you can thrive, whether it's competing together in a sport, working on a project, or even engaging in friendly debates. The most important thing to keep in mind is that competition for Aries isn't personal. They're not trying to make you feel bad or prove they're superior to you. They just love the thrill of pushing themselves and others to be the best they can be. Embrace it, challenge them when necessary, but always remember that you're a team. Instead of getting caught in power struggles, focus on how you can complement each other's strengths and weaknesses. Aries values a partner who can keep up with them, but also respects their need to win. When both partners are on the same page, this competitive nature can enhance the relationship rather than tear it apart. Finally, let's explore one of the most fascinating aspects of an Aries relationship: forgiveness and forgetting. One of the things that makes an Aries relationship both intense and rewarding is the way they handle conflict. Aries can be quick to anger, often reacting impulsively when they feel disrespected or hurt. However, the good news is that they also forgive just as quickly. Once the storm has passed, they're usually ready to move forward without holding grudges. I've seen this happen in real life with a couple I know, where the Aries partner would occasionally lash out during arguments. The non-Aries partner was often caught off guard by the intensity of the Aries' emotional outbursts. But the beauty of an Aries is that once they've vented, they're done. There's no lingering resentment or passive-aggressive behavior. They want to move on and get back to enjoying life. However, while Aries is quick to forgive, they don't necessarily forget. If you've wronged them in a significant way, they may not bring it up every time you argue, but they'll remember it. That's why it's crucial to be mindful of the way you handle conflicts with them. Don't ignore the issues or sweep things under the rug. Aries needs closure, and they want to feel like their emotions were taken seriously. When an Aries forgives, they need to feel that you've genuinely understood why they were hurt and that you're taking responsibility for your actions. Otherwise, the same issues may pop up again. The key here is to address things openly and honestly. If you hurt them, apologize sincerely, and give them space to express their feelings. This will not only help you avoid future misunderstandings but will also deepen the trust and respect in your relationship. Navigating the complex emotions of an Aries partner can be a challenge, but it's also one of the most rewarding experiences you can have in a relationship. With their quick temper comes an equally fast recovery, and their intense passion for life will encourage you to live boldly and embrace your own journey. As we wrap up this deep dive into Aries relationship dynamics, it's clear that dating this fiery sign is never boring. From their unpredictable energy to their intense need for freedom and love for competition, every moment with an Aries is an adventure. And while they bring plenty of drama and emotional highs, they also offer deep loyalty, honesty, and passion. If you can embrace the challenges that come with their personality and learn to communicate openly, you'll find that an Aries can make a thrilling, rewarding, and fulfilling partner. But remember, it takes understanding, patience, and a willingness to meet them at their level. Respect their need for space, challenge them when necessary, and always be ready for the next emotional roller coaster. So, if you're dating an Aries, or you're considering it, know this: it's a wild ride, but it's one worth taking. And for those of you who are navigating an Aries relationship right now, take these insights to heart, and remember that with the right balance, it can be one of the most exciting, passionate relationships you'll ever experience. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, share with anyone who's dating an Aries. And of course, subscribe to Zen Mind Peaceful Life for more tips, insights, and astrology content that will help you navigate all kinds of relationships. Until next time, stay peaceful and embrace the adventure that comes with loving an Aries.